Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday evening Diamond Blitz on chess.com. I am joined by FIDE Master Jonathan Rogers, and I am WIM Natasha Regan, and we'll be talking you through all the action from this 10-minute arena. Let me share my screen, and on the arena far, we have 10 players. No, we have 12 players. 13 players. It's just going up by the second.
I think they've heard that you're commentating, Natasha.
And that you are FIDE Master Jonathan Rogers.
Yeah, but if you look at the chat, they're talking about you.
Oh, well, that'll soon change once we start.
Oh, wait, it is 14 now.
14 players, okay. And so it's a 90-minute arena starting in 2.5 minutes. We can see that the number one player there at the moment is Nigel Towers, and he is the one of the organizers of the event and regularly plays lots of online chess. So we'll be following his games. We'll also be following some other familiar names from our previous commentaries. Is Necroscope and Mike Bear. And the other thing is there's probably a stack of people that we commentate on often but have a different name under chess.com. And so I'm going to have to relearn everybody's name from chess.com, from Lead Chess. Just to say, Grandmaster Matthew Sadler is unwell this evening, so he won't be able to join us. So big get well soon to Matthew. But we are very grateful to Jonathan Rogers for stepping in at short notice. What did we give you? 1 hour notice? Maybe even not even that.
Less than that.
Less than that, yeah. But
I've always fancied myself as a commentator, though, so I leapt to the opportunity.
That is absolutely excellent. Do you want to introduce it, say a bit about yourself and what you've done so far?
What have I done? Well, okay. For those of you who are roughly in their 40s or 50s, you may remember me as the kid who occasionally drew with Michael Adams as when we were 10 years old. You may remember me winning the British Under-15s in 1986. You may remember me writing a book on the Elephant Gambit in 1994.
Oh, did you actually write a book on it? I knew you played the Elephant Gambit. I didn't realise you'd actually written a book as well.
I did write a book on the Elephant Gambit. It completely sold out. And there was a saga there, which I could talk about.
Well, we'll save it till we see an Elephant Gambit.
Maybe for later. But I've not played an actual tournament this century. I've just played 4NCL, and I'm probably better known for being a 4NCL manager these days.
Yeah. So Jonathan captains the Barbican team and has been doing it, a long time. Fantastic captain. Percy Hepworth says it's like having Dan Maskell as super sub. So there you go. In fact,
these people, whoever they are.
This is guitar.
So Natasha, do you know pretty much everyone who's, or a good proportion of the people who are playing? Oh, well, Keith has joined. Okay, we know Keith.
Oh, I know Keith. And E4 Ever, wait a minute, who is E4 Ever? I think that's Tom Villiers. I sometimes get it wrong because he's got different, he's Hack Attack and he's not Checkmate, like he's Square Taker under Lead Chess. And we of course, we know ferrarifan, who plays a lot of these events. Now, actually, the chess has started, so let's see.
Chess has actually started. Okay.
That's the only thing I have to work out is how to actually see the games. Ah, excellent. So we just click on this chessboard here.
Okay.
And we will start.
And Keith must be black because it's a Caro-Kann.
You're exactly right, Jonathan. Keith is black and it is a Caro-Kann. And he is going with his H-pawn already.
I've got a question, which is not to do with Keith's position, although I like his H5, incidentally. How do I get rid of the private chat thing on this screen?
The private chat on this screen?
It's blocking out H8, G8, G7, and H7. If Keith were to go rook G8 for some reason, I would have no idea.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
No.
I think the viewers can see the whole board.
Yeah.
Because,
okay.
I can see that.
Okay. Well, I warn you in advance, viewers. If anyone, if there's ever black getting mated on G7 tonight, you'll have to tell me about it, because it could be blocked from my screen by the private chat facility. Okay, well, white shouldn't be going C4 there. I mean, I don't see that helps his position.
Yeah. So.
And I guess Keith will go H4 next move, won't he? Why not?
Keith. He's swapping off now. Keith, of course, we all know, we've all followed enough of Keith's games to know that he really likes his end games, and especially the rook and pawn endings. So if he gets a chance to swap everything off, of course he will.
But did you know that Keith was a hacker in his youth?
No, tell me about how Keith used to play in his youth. I didn't.
Apparently, it's not so unusual. Apparently, Ulf Anderson was a hacker in his youth. So apparently, with some people, they have a very extreme reaction to their youth, and they go into utter reverse. But I wonder, when I see Keith play Blitz, whether some of his sort of hacky childhood comes back to him. Or maybe I'm wrong. I thought he might go H3 there instead.
Well, I mean, Keith has been playing his kind of Queen's Gambit declined with white type systems for many years, so he must have been pretty young when he was a hacker.
I mean, I guess the reason why he went HG3 instead of H3 is that he wants to put a bishop on G4, and when you put a bishop on G4, white might dislodge it with F3. That'd be rather nasty now because of possible checks on that diagonal later, and those checks would be all the nastier with the H file being opened. So I thought he did that in order to put his bishop on G4, and as soon as I said that, he played bishop H3. He's
actually gone a different route.
That's his commentator's curse, isn't it?
To H3. And it looks like he's going to swap it off as a first step, and then I don't know. I mean, he might just relocate his queen to the H file and play for mate.
Well, I mean, okay, but you know, white could go bishop H3, rook H3, king G2, knight F4. He's not going to get mated there, is he? And he's probably happy to see the bishop on F4 because
even in 3 minutes plus 0 seconds. So this time he's got a little bit of extra time. But actually, Keith is still playing very fast. He's used less than a minute so far. Hack Attack's used 2.5 minutes. He's probably trying to think of a way to keep, because of course Hack Attack really is a hacker.
You know this. You know everyone, don't you, Natasha? Who is the player playing white then?
So that is Tom Villiers. You probably do.
Oh, sorry, the top two seeds are playing in the first round. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's often happens with an arena, and they pair the people against a similar strength in the first round, and then it gets a bit more random after that. So what some players do, if they're the top player in the arena, they just agree a quick draw in round 1, and then go for wins after that. But these guys look like they're battling it out.
Well, they could afford to lose, couldn't they? Because then they get lots of weak opponents, and they get bonus points if they win consecutive games, perhaps.
Exactly. But I wonder if Keith might be trying to see if he can win all his games tonight. We'll see.
That sounds like Keith.
Yeah.
I once went to a Blitz event where Keith got 23 out of 23, which was
wow,
rather good in an event.
That is very impressive for a Blitz event, isn't it? Because that's the thing, because it looks like the openings he plays are fairly quiet, and you wouldn't think that would then lead to a huge score. But he knows the position so well that then you know, the game lasts a little while, and he can just polish up at the end.
He does, yeah. Also, when he's actually looking for tactics, he's very dangerous with tactics.
So, is this bishop getting out? I suppose Keith's going to plan.
He can go B5, can't he? He could have gone B5 and Queen A6. But actually, well, he can go B. Keith has to go B5 now. So come on, B5, Keith.
I tell you what, we've got on chess.com, which we don't usually have in our lead chess commentaries. Is the bar going up and down, the evaluation bar, and it swung massively in favour of white a couple of moves ago, and now it's turned back to black. I'm going to try and ignore it a bit anyway.
So after Queen A3, Rook A8, Bishop B6. Then Queen C8, threatening Queen H3. That looks nasty to me.
Oh, Queen C8, Queen H3 does look nasty.
So, Rook B8 first, Queen A3, Rook A8 seems to force Bishop B6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bishop B6, Queen C8. I like the look of it.
Delacorte says, "Don't believe the bar. Don't believe everything the bar says." And I think he's
well,
absolutely
wise
right.
words,
Yeah,
whatever they mean.
but I think it's probably right in this case that it probably is looking quite promising for black at the moment.
When we say the bar, it's like, are you seeing something else I can't see?
Just over on the left-hand side of the board, just by the H file, in fact.
Oh, well, of course I can't. I'm blocked by this private chat facility.
This private chat, can you send?
It's blocking H8, G8, H7.
I do apologise.
And F7, I can only just see, incidentally. I'm just going to have to, adapt to this very quickly. So why is White thinking, oh, that time limit is quite generous, isn't it? That's why Tom is thinking, but I think he's thinking too late. And I tell you what, let's suppose he hadn't gone C5 a moment ago, but gone B5. I reckon his position would have been rather good.
Would be good. Oh, so he should have gone B5 instead of C5.
Then he's done in Queen A6. Sorry?
Why would that have been so good?
Well, then he can go Queen A6 the next move. So Rook A8, Queen A6 would have been mate, for example.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That would have helped, yes.
That would have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see what you mean.
And I don't know why he played C5 so quickly, given he had, well, still quite a few minutes left on the clock. Because I've been wasting my life playing Blitz, you see, and I've been, 2 minutes sort of stuff. So for me, these games seem to be lasting an eternity. And why you would waste that luxury with a quick C5 instead of B5, I don't know.
Oh,
shall we look at another game just in case?
Yeah. Let's have a look. What else we have? I've been avoiding this moment just in case I don't know how to operate it. Right, here we go. Let's see Ferrarifan. Oh, wait a minute. I think here we go. There's Ferrarifan. Oh
no, hang on. Oh, Keith's going to be a piece up in the ending. Okay, this is over. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so a first game of the evening and the White.
I've not successfully converted it to seeing Ferrarifan yet. I'm glad I'm doing this practice session, by the way, so that I know how to work chess.com.
A practice session?
This is practice. Sorry, yes, I should say to everyone it's a practice.
You're spoiling it for the fan.
Sorry, I've offended you.
Oh, I'm sure there are, this is a mere practice session indeed.
Apologies. I didn't mean it like that. Right, here we go. This is Nigel Towers against Ferrarifan.
This is a number 3 and number 4 seed. Okay.
Yes. And
so I'm assuming Black's got a king on G8 and a rook on H8. Is that right?
Black's got a king on G8 and a rook on F8 and a rook on E8.
Oh, F8. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So Black's already castled. He's got doubled G pawns.
Okay.
And
so White's a pawn up. Okay. And he's.
Yeah. And so Ferrarifan is Robert Starley, who you might know. I think he's played in Florentiel for Cambridge.
I definitely know the name.
Yeah. And Nigel Towers, of course, is the organizer.
Yes.
Yes. And so
would you convert this as White then, Natasha? What say you?
Every time. Did you say would I convert it, or how would
you convert this as White?
Do you think it's a win?
Yeah, probably. What I wouldn't know here is whether White should go H4 or not, just to sort of fix down on Black's pawns. Swapping off rooks first is probably one pair of rocks is a good idea, and he might go H4 quite soon.
Guitar Man, we're not using Streamlabs, we're using Restream, which I think is a sort of very simple type software. I'm sure that I could. Oh, wait a minute, chat. I could do. Does that help you, Jonathan?
It does help me actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. There we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Now C4, I'm not so sure about because I'm not sure what it achieves, and I'm a simple sort of chap who'll move pawns in the ending if I know why, but I won't just move them because they attack something.
The issue with that, though, is that that actually has shared onto the screen, so I'm going to turn it back.
Go back to it. I can cope.
There we go. Otherwise, the viewers see this sort of big blank screen. Yeah, sorry, Osler. We've reverted to previously.
I'll forgive you. But you see here now, black might go should have gone G. Well, you should probably have kept rooks on. No, actually, couldn't have kept rooks on. All right. Yeah, okay. No, I'll be quiet now. I think I'll just watch how it unfolds. It might be the white's played this perfectly. I don't know. He's still winning.
White must have. Black must have some drawing chances here. You'd have thought.
Well, one thing he's got to be careful about is that white can go king d3 and bishop d4, and that might force the exchange of bishops because of the g7 pawn being on pre.
Yeah, if the bishops come.
So bishop d4 now would be a good move, I'd have thought. Because
yeah.
any king and pawn ending will be winning, and bishop d4 will therefore win a pawn if black then tries to exchange bishops.
Yeah, so white could do that now.
Maybe not bishop d4 now because of king g4. Maybe he's got to spend a move going f3 or something. Okay, now he's turning bishop d4 again, as it were.
Yeah.
So black has to do something, whether it's king g6, c5, or move the bishop on f6. He's gone g6. Okay.
He's gone g6, so he can now move the bishop out of the way if white goes bishop d4.
And now the thing to think about for white might be a4 and a5.
Yeah. Yeah. And try and soften up these queenside pawns that black's got.
He could probably do that still now if he wanted to. Although I wonder whether Keith would go b4 and b5. Well, maybe both are good.
Right. Should we check another game? Okay, here's another.
a6 is probably okay.
I've switched games for you there.
It's because you don't like end games, isn't it, Natasha? We all know the truth.
We're now got KH Swampy against Peter Chaplin, and the very exciting thing about this is I've commentated on KH Swampy numerous times, but I've never actually seen this with a picture there. So he doesn't have a picture in lead chess. So here we go. This looks like knight g4 looks dangerous, doesn't it?
Yes, this was like a stomping performance from black.
Yes, this does look good for black.
Can we see the whole game? Since it's obviously quite brief, it might be quite a nice.
Let's see that. So it's a Sicilian defense Kramnik variation. Although when it says that, but it looks like French defense. E4.
I suppose they change their minds pretty quickly, don't they?
It's transposes into a Sicilian defense Kramnik variation.
I would never have known.
Have you played this line, Jonathan?
I don't. I guess if black goes a6, it might be a car. No, I think black is mixing his systems here a bit.
Black does end up with a very good position there.
It works very well for him. But I think he's sort of playing around a bit in the opening.
Okay. Now, what I know of Peter Chaplin is he knows a stack of a lot of opening tricks. So he will sometimes play quite unsound openings, but he very often gets these quick wins with.
I like the sound of him. I like the sound of him a lot.
Yeah. He would be your type of player, definitely.
Okay.
Lining up.
Already he's quite good for black, so I don't know what white's gone. No, maybe
That's how that all happened.
Well, this is not right. So he's missed knight g4, but already black was doing well.
Yeah. Very good for black here.
Win this, probably you go bishop e5, or bishop g3 is possible, is it?
Would you sacrifice someone else's bishop there, Peter Chaplin's bishop?
Why don't you go bishop g3? This is your sort of thing, Natasha. Or amongst other chess tricks. But why not bishop g3 in that previous position?
I'd be tempted, I have to say.
You can still do it, of course.
Yeah, do it now.
Oh, can you? Yeah, you can, if you want to.
Yeah, because that kind of leads to mate, doesn't it, if you take it off? Of course, he doesn't have to take it.
Well, I think if he'd done the move before, it'd be harder for white to swap pieces off. So bishop g3 would have been quite nasty. Can I see what white did wrong in this game? Because, like I say, after move 5, I liked him, and by move 10, I hated his position.
All right, where would you like to go back to?
Let's. He won already. Okay.
It's all finished. Well, look at that position though. Yeah.
So why did white resign this?
Wait a minute. Can I get back to the moves? Want me to stop when you...
Okay, so stop around here. Why did he go knight e2? Was that knight on b1 before? So you could have gone knight c3 maybe.
Yeah.
Shouldn't worry too much about double pawns. I mean, you accept that as a price for the bishop.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean,
how would you know that that's not a good move, knight d2? Is there something about it you don't...
Well, I think it's precisely because of d5 and black's pieces become very active. I somehow think if knight on c3, there'd be ways around that. Or maybe you could then just take on d5. It could just be as simple as you want to restrain d5.
Yeah.
And here he hasn't. With a knight on c3, it would have been a bit harder.
And maybe d5 just kind of explodes open the position.
Yeah. And a3, bishop d6 makes it worse because now black has an actual threat which he didn't have before.
Yeah.
And now it's ugly, isn't it? Can we see why white resigned in the final position?
Yep. Check. Okay. I think he ran out of time, actually. He's got 0 time on his clock.
Although king g2, queen c6 is hard to meet, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's on time. Although the position's not great either, to be fair.
No.
All righty.
So we have an early leader, do we? Keith has not yet won. Oh, we have another winner. We are actually... I know Keith has one, to be fair.
Yeah. So we have lots of people on 2, which I think means 1 win, including Necroscope, Ferrarifan, Keith, Johan Pedal, Mike Bear, Ross Rattray, Ilrock. Yeah.
Well, if Necroscope is such a regular, we'll turn to him when he next plays. But hang on, who's at the top of that list again?
Let me tell you.
Who's Johan? Sorry, look at his. Is he playing now? Let's look at his game.
Yes, let's see. I'm looking on this one with all the games.
Incidentally, should I be saying he or she throughout the commentary?
Yeah. I think if the...
Or am I justifying
if they're a guy or a girl, then I guess we should say they. This one, I was going to say this looks good for black, and it's checkmate, so that really is good for black.
That's good.
Yes. Okay, so Johan will be now on a streak on 3 out of 3, and in the lead, followed closely by Keith Arkell. Gosh, no, it's not that close because he's got 3 out of 3, and nobody else has even won 2 games yet.
I guess actually, since there aren't all that many people playing, there can be longer waiting times, I suppose. Yeah. The only time I ever played an arena event, there were sort of 50 people playing, so you always got games quite quickly because somebody else would always finish roughly at around the same time you did. But that won't be so in his field, I suppose. Well, shall we look at? You obviously know
Manchester City.
Let's look at one Necroscope's wins, shall we?
Oh, in a moment. Okay, let's check this one. All right, this is an Italian game. And black's done an early knight d4. This is Manchester.
So knight e5, queen g5 is the idea there.
Knight
e5. Queen g5 will follow as knight follows d.
So black is going to play queen g5. So this is quite an aggressive opening, isn't it, by Manchester City? So
there are analogous positions where you play this trick and white has to go knight g4.
Yeah, you're correct about queen g5 has happened.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you lose somehow or other if you take on f7, so knight g4 might be the move. I'll tell people a very obvious trap to be aware of here. If knight f7, queen g2, the rook might plausibly move to f1. Then you have queen takes e4, check, bishop e2, knight f3, wait.
Knight f3, checkmate.
So, I don't know if that's quite forced, but it has a sort of horrible air of plausibility about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that will not happen in this game.
No.
It might. It might.
So I suppose knight g4 is safer because they can always retreat to e3 next move and protect g2.
Knight g4 does encourage black to go something like h5, though, doesn't it?
h5 or d5 or all sorts of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it does encourage d5, doesn't it?
Yes. Bishop f7. Okay, what about this? So black could...
So it hasn't, not the threats haven't obviously gone away.
Can black just take this knight?
So you see, bishop f7. I don't think had a, unless I'm, of course, a computer could easily prove me wrong, but as a human, I would say either know what you're doing or don't do it.
The computer's saying this is really good for white. Oh.
Oh, come on, queen g2 is black anyway.
Yeah. Computer did not like bishop takes g8 though.
Oh, okay. So what did he want white to do instead?
Well, I don't know that.
Okay. Well, this has been sort of chess life for people of our sort of age. You look at opening lines in books and you learn them, and then computers crop up when you're middle-aged, and they tell you all these lines and all these losing lines are actually entirely playable. And this business of
Ocelot has given us the answer. Instead of bishop g8, queen h5, the computer liked.
I see.
Now look at this. Oh no, is this
that's even worse than the one we imagined.
No. Oh god, it's checkmate. Well played, Manchester City. This was almost the line that you predicted. Now, will black see it? Black will, of course, see it.
Yes.
Well played, Manchester City. A very forceful opening there, and
demonstrable, exposition of the merits of black's opening there.
Yeah.
So going back to the queen h5 point, which we've been kindly pointed towards.
Oh yes, yes. Let me go back there.
Just in case for people at home who are very afraid of this
here
gambit for black.
Yeah. So instead of taking this knight,
he's gone queen h5.
Queen out. Can I do that? I should put it on the board. Yeah. Queen out to h5. Oh, I tell you what, though, the computer doesn't like that. Doesn't like that one either. This is a very fussy computer. It doesn't like any.
I'm hoping it's going to come round to my idea that the bishop f7 isn't the best move, and you have to have an idea if you.
The computer thinks this is fine, though.
What's it give then?
I don't know. I've just got the bar. I've just got the evaluation, not the moves. Castles?
Well, he can, but what's follow up to queen e5?
I don't know.
There is certain blood in our veins which probably make us both think of f4, but black can go queen c5. It doesn't really seem to help, does it?
Ocelot's having a laugh.
I bet he is. Okay.
Should we look at another game?
Yeah, let's stop him laughing. Let's turn to another game.
Right. So necroscope we were going to look at, weren't we?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find necroscope. No, I can't. But shall we see Johan, who is in the lead?
Oh, well, yes. We must turn to the leader.
Yes.
He's playing an English against a Dutch, and this is not a great Dutch for black. He wants to have his e-pawn on the board, ideally, in these positions. Whether it's e6 or e5, he wants it to exist. In these positions, white can plonk something on d5, and black finds it hard to generate counterplay. Yeah,
I've played these kind of positions for black before. And if you've got that e-pawn on e5, you can play for f4 and do some of these little attacks with h3 and queen f5 and knight g4 and that stuff.
Like a reverse Grand Prix attack going back to our 1980s youth.
Exactly, the Grand Prix. That was so much fun to play.
That was fun, wasn't it? He's still around, indeed. But yes, without the e-pawn, the position can get a bit depressing. And the pawn has dropped off for no compensation.
Yeah, it's very white, isn't it? With that
so is the leader white here?
Yes.
Okay. So he's moving smoothly into gear here.
Yeah, and playing very fast as well, which also
actually
helps.
he hasn't just won a pawn. Is he winning even more? I think he's just winning more now, isn't he?
Yeah, because if the queen takes, we're going to take that knight on e5 as well.
Yeah. No, he's attacking 3 pieces. I mean, even queen f8 is a threat. Yeah, so the queen goes, and there's a fork coming up. So this is really terrible.
Guitar Man saying his chess improved when he started gluing his f pawn to its starting square, so he didn't push it in the opening too early. Yeah, I could use that as well. There was this time when I was playing the birds opening all the time, just like.
Oh, you wrote a book on that, didn't you?
I in fact did write a book.
I think you wrote a book on a bird for my Elephant Gambit book.
Yeah, well, it was nice, that book on the birds. There was all sorts of classic games in there. Because all my friends took up the birds while I was writing it. I told them I was writing it, and if they played a nice game in the birds, I'd include it in the book. It was one of those trends books, and so all my friends took up playing the birds for a while, and we got lots of really nice games.
Nothing to do, of course, with the difficulty of finding 100 recent games in the birds, generally speaking.
Exactly, I had to generate my own games for that. It was in those days, so must have been in the
early 90s.
Yeah. And we, of course, we didn't really even have computers, or if we did, we didn't really use it much. And so what happened when we wrote a trends book was that they would send you on computer paper a printout of like 500 games, and then you'd pick 100 out of those and then write about them. And yeah, so
I've heard of him. Oh, he's a friend of mine. He goes in. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is looking promising for white. Should we trust white to?
I think we can trust white here. Black's still going to play him.
Okay, so let's see the scores. And so Johan is on 4 out of 4. Eelrock is on 3 out of 4. Let's see if we can check out Eelrock's game. I don't know who Eelrock is. So if anyone in the chat knows who the players are, Friends book Guitar Man, boxes of them in foils. They were classic, you know. Here's Eelrock.
Eelrock.
Yes. Okay. So Eelrock is on 3 out of 4.
I'm finding it hard to work out who's black and who's white.
Eelrock is white. It says kind of at the bottom. I don't think it's on the screen.
Okay. Oh, Eelrock, I think, does not have a very sharp repertoire against 3 queen d6 in the Scandinavian.
Yes. Keith took up queen d6 in the Scandinavian for a while. I don't know if he's still playing it.
Well, it's his sort of thing. I mean, you know, Keith with black, anything where he keeps his e-pawn, he's happy. Whether it's Sakara-Khan or Scandinavian or anything, as long as he keeps his e-pawn and doesn't exchange it, he's very happy. Queen d6 was so popular. I mean, Tony Miles and Tivyakov, I suppose, is the best known.
Tivyakov, yeah, that's what I was.
I got it from your book, Natasha, I should say.
Exactly. So in Chess for Life, which is a book I wrote with Matthew Sadler, and we did a chapter on a lot of famous players and sort of how their repertoires had changed throughout their lives. And Tivyakov is an absolute expert in this Queen d6 Scandinavian. So I think that was what inspired Keith to take it up for a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, because he got a free copy of your book, you mean?
He was a star of the book.
A star. Yeah, I remember that chapter. I remember many of the chapters, and I remember you saying that Tivyakov was still impossible to prepare for, even in 3 and queen d6 lines, because you would have different 4th, 5th, and 6th moves in so many of the lines.
Yeah, no, he knew it inside out.
Yeah, but he could vary even at moves 5, 6, and 7. So anyone preparing for him in the morning of the game would have absolutely no chance.
Do you like this type of position?
Funnily enough, I do. When I was really young, in the days when I was quite good for my age, I actually played the Karakan a lot. And I found it would just play itself, actually. You know, you had a position ideally like this with really no weaknesses, and you would potter around putting your pieces on sensible squares, and the other person would lose. And life was very easy.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and in this position, it is easy for white to pot around and do badly because he often struggles to find anything to do with that light squared bishop.
Yeah.
The thing about these positions, which I learned a bit late in life, is that it's not just a matter of black not having his own light squared bishop, but actually white's own light squared bishop can be a bit useless as well.
Okay. Yeah. Because you could put it on f3, but it doesn't seem to do very much there because the pawns are kind of blunting that diagonal.
It's all blunted. Sometimes in a position like this, you might want to put the bishop on f3, then a rook on b1 and go b4 and b5 just to make that bishop look important. But now white's castle queenside, that's rather denied to him. But it does mean that bishop it's still got nothing to do, and it's not obvious what it ever will do.
Yeah.
So I think black must be happy with this. So was our hero white or black?
Guitarman saying Chess for Life is the book he's read the most. That's very nice.
Very good.
Why did that suddenly go very, very good for black for a moment? Is there a tactic? Oh, like there.
I think white didn't find a plan, and he's left with a knight with no outposts and a bishop with no future. And he's been playing moves without really thinking. What he might have to be careful about, depending on where he puts his knight, is black going knight a4 and drumming out some nasty tactics on the queen.
I was just looking at that. Yeah, because that black bishop now is really excellent, isn't it?
Good bishop, isn't it? Incidentally, Tiviakov's another person who changed his style over time. In his youth, he was a Sicilian dragon player, notoriously perhaps. But of course, as you say, he's converted to this much quieter life in later times.
Now that.
Yeah, we were going to mention that.
What do you do about that?
Just about to mention that. We were just about to mention the last thing you must do is allow bishop h6.
So if f4, we just take it. So there isn't a defense.
No, and we were definitely 100% about to mention that.
I was the next thing I was going to say.
Next thing I was about to say.
Yeah.
I think we can probably go to another game now.
Yeah. Okay. Unlucky Eelrock. So this is going to ruin Eelrock's streak.
Oh dear. We've been unfair to the chap who clicked onto the wrong game for him. But life isn't fair. Shall we go back to Keith? Shall we?
Yes. Let's see what Keith's up to. Okay. Keith Arkell. Oops. Just moved. I was just about to click it. Oh, Keith Arkell against Nigel Towers.
Oh.
There we go.
Keith is black, I assume, again without actually looking.
You're right. No, it's saying a modern defense. Now, I thought Keith was the Caro-Kann.
But sometimes he does it to get back into the Caro-Kann. Look, he's gone c6 and d5 on moves 3 and 4. So this is a Gurgenidze system of the Caro-Kann, where he can transpose. You can play it as a Caro-Kann of c6, d5, then followed by g6 and bishop g7. Or you can twist it and go g6, bishop g7 to start with, then c6 and d5.
So he's disguising what he's about to play. Which isn't actually going to be that successful against Nigel Towers because Nigel's played in the same tournaments as Keith many, many times.
Oh, well, that I did not know, you see.
Well, yes, in all these online tournaments, we've had a lot of times Keith and a lot of times Nigel. But then I suppose Nigel's so busy playing, he doesn't see what openings Keith has been up to.
Well, it's not as if Keith changes all that often. A couple of things to mention about the modern and the Caro-Kann. If you like playing with c6, d5, followed by g6 and bishop g7, then you do have a choice of whether you start with the Caro-Kann or whether you start with g6. Of course, if you start with the Caro-Kann, you risk the opponent playing the advance or the pan-off or something like that. So if you're afraid of that, then you'll start with g6 and bishop g7.
Yeah. So do you think Keith was afraid of Nigel's pan-off?
Possibly.
You never know.
I don't know what he'd say about the word afraid, but he may have particularly wanted this type of game. And this is in Blitz. This is a nice way to play it, of course, because often one side gets weak pawns, and you can just take them off with cute 2-move tactics, which is right up Keith's street.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas with the Panov, white would at least have a big space advantage in the opening, and he might have the odd tactic or two if you're not careful. And Keith, he doesn't like to analyse tactics. If you can have rook g3 is coming now.
Yeah, queen d3.
Could he have gone rook g3 there?
And
no, hang on. Maybe he couldn't have done. He could have gone rook g3 there.
And then rook g3, queen f1, king c2, queen f2, picking up the rook.
Yeah. Or queen f1, queen d1, queen f4 picks up the rook. Ah, you see, we should be playing this event. We might have lost our queen in the same way Mr. Eek did, but apart from that. This
is now looking winning. It's one for Keith. Okay, let's see. So Keith has now taken the lead, equal with Johan. Then we have
let's see Johan in action then. Is that what the square means?
And E forever. Now we haven't yet seen Amir Abbas.
Okay.
Let's see if we can spot Amir Abbas.
Okay.
There it is. There he is, Latvian against Latvian Dusman.
This is a Trompovsky, apparently. Okay. Which is not gone too well for white yet. Although I've seen worse, of course. Who's moved? Black to move.
You want to see it from the start?
Yeah, okay.
Here we go. Julian Hodgson's favourite, the Trompovsky.
Gosh, we're going back to the 80s and the 90s all the time today, aren't we?
Apologies. Yeah.
A psychologist would make a big thing about this, I'm sure.
Actually, this is quite a quiet version.
Well, yeah, I mean, A3 is a waste, but okay. Still no damage really yet.
You've played the Trompovsky in your time, haven't you, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah. One of my many sins. So I'm going to go back a bit. I think people would probably recommend that I should have gone EF6 in that position. You go EF6, then you go E4 next move.
Yeah, because that E4 gets very weak, doesn't it? The way with that knight there.
Yeah. So yes, as I say, EF6, then E4 would have been more normal. Now the pawn is weak, and it's not really obvious, unless it's not really obvious where his play is coming from now. Well, I guess White's dreaming of putting a bishop on B1 and queen on C2, but now he's gone bishop G6, not even that.
Yeah.
Well, let me think.
I suppose.
Right. Tell you what, no.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what would he do after knight E5, queen G5?
Ooh, a little tactic. Can I put it on the board?
Yeah.
If this works, knight E5.
With the risk of it being rubbish.
Oh, no, you know what? That's turned into my guess. You see, that's another thing you can do on chess.com is you can do these guesses. So I've guessed that black is going to play knight E5. And then I'm up against all the other guessers who might guess something completely different. So, okay. So if knight E5, queen G5.
I admit to not having anything particularly in mind after queen D4. I was hoping queen G2, that's just rubbish. No, this is a rubbish idea of mine. You'd have to cancel it. Oh, hang on. Unless after knight E5, we go queen F6 instead.
I'm going to just send this link to the tournament in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. All you viewers, I think the viewers won't be too impressed by this either. I think after knight E5, queen F6, queen D4. So knight E5, queen F6, queen D4, you can probably still do. So it's just a check on F2, isn't it? It's nothing more than that. Although I don't know, because then you go queen B2. Oh, let's play it.
I don't know that I can actually do that though. Knight E5, queen F6, queen D4, queen F2, check.
King D1.
Queen B2. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. You think, didn't you?
Yes.
Our computer will refute it, but and it's true that we haven't really.
I used to think it's slightly good for black.
Well, I'm a bit concerned that the other pieces aren't actually in the game. So unless we're actually finishing white off here, he may go wrong.
Yeah. You mean one could consider just developing our queen's bishop and queen's rook rather than going in for these heavy tactics.
I worry that it feels slow. I worry that you get the queen on B2 and it looks lovely, but there's no immediate follow up, and our pieces can't really get out. So no, this is fantasy, I'm
Well, Amir Abbas is having a good think about it and could well be thinking about whether or not to play knight e5. We thought we would, and we're slightly changing our mind, and now we think we probably wouldn't, and we'd actually just develop first and maybe hold it in reserve.
Well, maybe I played it wrong. So let's keep this line on the board after all. So knight e5, queen f6, queen d4, queen f2, king d1. What can I take on g2 first? Does that make a difference?
You can try.
That actually forces rook e1.
So you would have, what, 2 pawns for the knight?
Yeah. I don't know.
Ah. Rock me and tell, can you join the tournament? You can if you're an ECF member. It's an arena tournament on chess.com. If you're a member of the ECF club, you can join. So if you're a member of the ECF, you can join that club. Oh, look, we got it correct. We are doing really well here. Yeah. So
this commentary team will be much in demand in the future. We still think it might lose, but
well, I'm going to do the next guess anyway because I think Mike will just take that.
Yes,
I'm going to be good at this guessing game.
Oh well, anyway, I like the spirit in which Black's playing, even if I doubt it so much. It's not a bad way to play Blitz because. You know, White isn't got an obvious way to exchange things off immediately, nor has he got an obviously winning attack. He's probably a piece up for insufficient compensation, but he's got a lot of moves to play which aren't forced or forcing. And it's not.
Oh, we were correct again. So now it's queen f6, I guess, is the guess.
Or I thought so, yeah, better than queen g5 because, you know, you had the option of queen f2 that way.
Yeah, although queen g5 has an option of queen e3, but you're saying queen d4 is more. A better defense, right?
Of course,
queen f6 now.
There is queen h5 though, which I was sort of conveniently forgetting about. You still have queen f2. That's probably no better for White. Actually, he's probably better off having the queen on d4. I think he's seriously underprotected after queen h5, queen f2. Well, but queen g5 would not be good. Oh no, queen g5 is a mistake.
Incorrect.
Now
Black actually played queen g5.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's allowed queen e3. That's a bit surprising.
Yeah.
I think
I better guess that quickly before anyone else does. There we go. So queen e3, we think.
Oh, queen e2, I guess.
Because it'll show it on the commentary.
It's a shame Black went queen g5. Queen f6 would have tested more, I think, because queen e2. Well, I think queen e2 and the attack's gone.
To be fair, the computer now quite likes this for Black.
All right. Did it like it? That's interesting. Did it like it after queen f6?
Didn't like it before queen h5. So I think maybe your other idea of queen d4 would have been stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. So the computer thinks that Black can just play on 2 pawns down, but with White's king cut in the center. Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So presumably it's saying queen e2, queen g5.
Well, it's now happened and the computer's just changed its mind. Computer now likes it really for White, so I think we can't trust this computer. We have to think ourselves, unfortunately. But we do have queen f2, and then we can take one of those other pawns. So that's getting 1 pawn back, and there's still that king is troubled. But I suppose White could defend just by putting the queen back.
Yeah, I'm assuming queen e2, queen g5, and Black has a couple of pawns. It's not ridiculous because White can't develop simply still.
Yeah,
but it's. I thought the other lines were more fun, but there we are.
Yes. All right. Let's.
Hang on. What's happening with the time here? Oh, sorry. That means we have 45 minutes left for the whole tournament. Okay.
Yeah, the arena's got. So it's halfway through the arena. Let's see how people are doing. At the halfway point.
The halfway point here. Okay.
Yeah. Keith is in the lead with 5 out of 5, but also Johan has 5 out of 5 as well. Then E Forever, which I believe is Tom Villiers, is on 3. Jumesh is on 3. Ross Rattray is also on 3. And so is Eel Rock. Then we've got Manchester City and Amir Abbas, Horse Chestnut and Ferrari Fan, and Nigel ST. And we've got quite a lot of players now. 26 players. Let's check in.
And White's going for self-mate in our start game as well.
Oh, really? Oh, no. Is there
King D1. He played King D1 instead of Queen E2.
Oh. So there's a threatened mate, but it's
quite a big one.
Black's in check, so Black needs to move the king.
I guess he can go King H7, can't he? And then back to H8 next move. Oh, let's.
King H7.
I don't believe White has a perpetual anyway.
Yeah. Well, maybe I should guess it anyway.
What is it with you and your?
He's gone the other way. He's gone F8. So, what would White?
Well, I wouldn't have guessed that either, but okay, as you wish.
I'm the top guesser though, 3 out of 5. I'm the only guesser.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud to be to be with you while you're winning the guessing games.
Yeah. So White could check on G6, but the king could just take the bishop. So this looks really difficult for White to me now.
Yeah, I don't see a perpetual, and it looks like he's getting mated. So yes.
All right, I'm going to check another game. So let's see if we can find Ross Rattray. We haven't seen Ross Rattray yet. So Ross Rattray against Duff Bailey, and Ross is White here, and French defense exchange variation.
Oh, okay. Oh, an exchange variation where he's a pawn up for nothing then. Oh no, because he's also the exchange down. This is not your normal exchange variation, I don't think.
No.
Something's happened here.
Something has happened. We have a very quick whiz through the moves.
I mean, to be fair, in my life of playing too much blitz on light chess, such a position could still go either way.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Certainly so. Okay, so he wins a pawn on knight d4, does he? So knight d4 wins a pawn, of course, because of the check on h7 if he takes.
Yeah, so queen takes d4, bishop takes h7, picks up that queen, so he can't take it. So how did White lose an exchange then? Yeah. There's a pin.
Does he manage to put a rook on d1 in a moment, perhaps?
E1.
I'm waiting for that rook to come to d1.
Rook on d1.
But he knows in advance. You can see how it happens. Yeah.
That's what happened. And yeah, the skewer.
A second reason to play h3.
It was deliberate though. Check to try and win the queen. So what happens here?
Has he allowed this? Has he?
This has happened.
Oh well, White's winning after all then. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, he saw that. He saw that at the end.
So White will win. Should win this game. Okay. Let's see.
It could be that some of the players are tiring, of course, if they are civilized people who've had a hard working day on Friday.
It's probably been, well, yeah, not just all day, but it's probably, it's Friday evening. They've probably been at work all week. Now, I do want to check in on Stanbad. Stanbad, if Stanbad on chess.com is the same as Stanbad on Lee Chess, then Stanbad is a very strong and very young junior player. And
is he white or black here?
White here.
Okay.
Yes, one of two brothers, I think, who are very, very strong players.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like his position.
You should try and recruit them for our team, Jonathan.
Yes, we'll be in touch after this is finished.
We'll be in touch after, yeah. So Stanbad has a B pawn on the 7th and an H pawn on H6. But these are, it's opposite coloured bishops. What do you think of this? Is this drawing?
Well, they say sometimes it's no problem at all for the stronger player to have opposite coloured bishops as long as there's a rook on board. The supposed drawing properties of opposite coloured bishops aren't really so great when there's a pair of rooks on the board.
Yeah, and with all the like when we were looking at AlphaZero and the computer chess, then actually quite often they would deliberately go for these opposite coloured bishops and play for the win, and not worry about it being drawish.
They have none of our human prejudices, you see, Natasha.
Yeah,
as demonstrated in your book.
Exactly. Okay, so white could make progress if the rook could get in, and somehow, because that H pawn could, like even white could even at some point go like bishop G8 and take off on H7 and try and queen the
Yeah,
8.
at some point. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, that would just drop the B7 pawn, but you could imagine it happening later, yeah.
Because couldn't...
Or maybe now you can go rook C3 and rook B3, and then maybe that's more of an issue. But, well, no, the kingside pawns drop off too easily then.
Can you go E5 check?
Yep.
Stanbad has.
And E6, because he's going to go E6 and have a third pawn. Yeah.
These pawns are quite menacing.
Now rook B5, surely. Rook B5 now would be crushing.
Because if the bishop gets taken, we go E7 and queen.
Yeah. If they'd been a swap of rooks, one of those pawns would have queened.
Yeah.
Well, there's still time to do it, and it's winning. Is there still time to do it? There is still time to go rook B5 if he wants to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we've got a passed, or Stanbad has a passed A pawn as well.
Yeah.
So I would say this is very promising for
So yeah, this is a win. Okay. Oh, I like it. I like it when they play my moves.
Yeah. So if rook takes rook, pawn takes, king takes bishop, and then we can choose which pawn we want to then push. We can do the B pawn or the E pawn, and we'll queen one of them.
Yeah, a confident finish from the rising young star, we can say.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Let's see who else. We have. We haven't seen Mike Bear yet, have we? Should we check in on Mike Bear?
Did we get up to 24 competitors in the end? That's quite good.
Yeah, we've got quite a good turnout. Although I don't see Mike Bear playing right now. So do you have a request? Who would you like?
Well, shall we see Tom Villiers? Because we've only seen him lose tonight so far. Maybe as a matter of...
So it's Tom Villiers against Robert Starley. Yes, and we've got an endgame. Very interesting endgame, actually, because it's a knight against a bishop. White with the bishop does have 2 sets of doubled isolated pawns. And so this, what do you think?
Well, the first thing is that white can't possibly be doing well, because if you think about it, that rook on A4 cannot move. It can never get back into the game. Oh, hang on, unless it can go C4, rook A3, rook D3 and rejoin the game. Okay.
I think you.
For a moment, I imagined that rook was permanently out of play, but that's not quite the case. Okay.
No. Maybe that's what you do, right? C4, rook A3, and come back round.
Yeah, I mean, that rook can't stay on A4 forever, even if it's only going to be needed for defense. On the whole, I think Black must be doing well here.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have an issue as to how he gets the knight back into the game, so it's not trivially winning or anything, I don't think. But White's got more problems coordinating his pieces.
Yeah, because Black could bring that other rook round if he wanted to.
Yeah, I thought he might a moment ago. It's not easy for Black to find a plan either, though. I mean, this is actually an interesting position. So yeah, C4 had to be played.
Yeah, so we'll expect White to now bring that rook back to A3, back to D3, and round into the action.
Yeah, I think we're struggling to find a plan for either side. That's our thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So does that do you think that then makes it A bit drawish?
I don't know. I mean, okay, if I had to do something as black here, I might say to myself, go g5, g4, which cramps white, and then g6 and f5 if you can, and see if you can get the pawns moving that way.
Yeah.
It's not completely risk-free, but if I felt I had to play for a win, I might think about it. Or it would not be risk-free though, so it might not be the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
It would depend on my mood, to be honest. I don't know why commentators fall into this trap. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's only me of saying I would do this and I would do that, because in reality you'd have half an hour, you'd think about it, and you'd change your mind 5 times.
Yeah.
I can see why black is sort of passing time a bit before he does anything committal. What he's decided to do is just move that knight after all, then, which makes total sense. So he wants to go knight c6 soon.
Yeah.
And white will have a decision as to whether he takes it or not.
Okay, white can't now take on g5 because the.
But white's got bishop f7 now.
Yeah.
And the question is, will white go
h5 maybe? Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, that's not what he intended.
Yeah.
It's still not the end of the world, though. I mean, he's still got his knight to play with.
Yeah.
The bishop can't stay on g6 forever because of the knight on e7.
Yeah, that knight can come around and now white's rooks are looking much more active though.
Yeah, I guess black's got it covered there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think white should go g4, in case he forgets. Okay, good.
He's done it.
Done it.
Alrighty, I'm going to switch games and we can come back to this in a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's see. Have we seen Keith recently?
Not since he took Mr. Townsend's
Stanbad. I do want to see this one.
Okay.
Let's
you know who Stanbad is then, clearly.
Yeah. Stanbad is. We just saw Stanbad's game. The very promising junior.
Oh, sorry. Yes. All right. And simply because the e-pawn is on the board.
I think he's only like about 9 years old or something.
Only 9, gosh.
If I'm getting it right, so did look it up the other day.
So is Keith white here or black?
Keith is white.
White. Gosh, he's playing without that e-pawn.
Stanbad's going for it.
1, 2, 3. So black's sacrifice exchange basically for something. Certainly got something. So I think it's got to be rook e2, queen c7 now then. Okay. Oh, black's got 2 pawns for the exchange.
Yeah, e-pawn and b-pawn extra. So it's a pretty interesting position.
With 2 pawns extra, I wouldn't be surprised if black's quite a bit better.
Okay. Will there be an
at the moment? I get, yeah. Would you take black here, Natasha?
Do you know, I think I would probably take white. I think I'd prefer the exchange to the extra pawns, but I don't know. It's not clear cut at all.
It's not. It's true that this is a position where you can imagine rooks doing damage. So I can see the textbook preference for the exchange. But I guess what I like is black's coordination and the fact that he can, you can put a pawn on e6 and a knight on d5 and sort of pretend to be Keith.
Yeah. The bishops are actually going to be quite good, aren't they? Like the one on g7 looks like it could be quite good.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, that's a funny thing about this position. You can imagine all their pieces being quite good in the right circumstances, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess black should play b5 unless there's some tactical reason. Okay.
Black's played b5.
b5. This is a very promising young man we see here playing.
Yeah. I can see you're thinking as a captain you wouldn't mind your teammates
taking careful notes. Careful notes while I speak. Now maybe knight e7 now, maybe.
How are we going to defend that though? It's attacked twice.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of sort of letting it go, but knight d7, maybe bishop e7, rook e8 is a bit complicated, maybe.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I suppose you could block it off with bishop e6. And then try not to give it away if you wanted to.
Yeah. That's interesting. I wonder whether Keith will take it or not.
Well, he could return the exchange and get the 2 pawns back.
I think he might, you know.
He didn't. He hasn't. You know, what he's done is offer an exchange of queens.
I could never imagine that from Keith. Okay.
Never imagine that from Keith.
Never imagine that from Keith. Well, black can go knight d5 now, at least.
I wonder if Stanbad knows about Keith's preference for playing in the endgame.
Did it come up in your book, Natasha?
It certainly has, but I have no idea if Stanbad has read the book.
Yeah,
he's not the target audience because it's for a more mature, like the older audience, let's say.
It's for a certain generation, is it?
A certain generation, exactly.
That is true. I mean, who's the youngest person in that book?
The youngest person could be Judith or...
Judith, maybe. Julie Polgar, yes.
Yeah, she's young.
Yeah, okay.
Or Tivy. I don't know how old everyone is exactly.
But it was, of course, exactly about a book about people changing their style over time.
Yeah. I mean, she was in there not because she was old, but because she was retired.
Okay, so assessing this position, let's suppose black swaps off those bishops.
Yeah.
What's the assessment? He's still got 2 pawns, which are nice. I wonder if the assessment would have been balanced. I think knight b4 is perfectly good too.
Now threatening. Okay, he was starting to take on a2.
But he can play knight d. Can he play? He can try knight d3. Just watch out for the tactic: rook d1, rook d8, rook d2, knight f2 check.
Yeah.
Which actually could have been met by king g1, but at any rate. Knight a2, I don't like so much. I can imagine pieces like that getting trapped.
That isn't it trapped already? It's a bit.
It might have happened already. Okay, well, that's
black's going to come in on d1, so you can't take the knight straight away because you'll get rook d1 and take the bishop on f1.
Oh, I see. So he has rook d1 and rook a1 to defend it if he needs it. Okay.
Yes. Nonetheless, the knight looks in a little bit of trouble. So you could go rook d1 and knight c1 and come out to b3 or something like that.
I think maybe Keith should go rook d2 in that case and just swap a pair of rooks.
Yeah, and let that knight come out.
Yeah, that would be the downside. But
Keith hasn't done the peaceful route.
But it's just nice to get rid of black's counterplay, and without a rook on the board, black would have no counterplay. Rook e1 then. Just keep the rook on the board. No, I think Keith should have. You see why I think Keith should have taken a rook off.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't sleep easily with a knight like that wandering around.
Yeah, because that might come out the b3 next.
Yeah. Well, bishop f5 or might help it hop to d3 perhaps, or e2.
Yeah. So Keith's counter-attacking against the pawn on e7.
Yes, but king f6 can simply deal with that.
Oh yeah, that's a nice move actually. Just bring the king a bit nearer the centre and keep all your tricks.
So tell me a bit more about this young player then. I mean, to do this at 9 is pretty impressive.
I'm not really the fountain knowledge here.
Right.
I think there's a pair of brothers that are both getting really good results. Yeah, I've just seen them play quite a lot in the various arenas that have been happening.
Now, should black go g5 here, do you think? Partly to stop white squeezing him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, he still can if he wants.
Here we go. Checkmate a lot says Stanley is the fastest improving player in the country. There you go.
Oh, right. Well, I'm not surprised. That's good to me.
There you go.
There you go. So we should remember this moment that we are commenting on his game, Natasha.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
when Keith falls, we shall say we commented on that historic game. We shall say.
Well, I don't think Keith's lost yet, but
no, I'm getting I'm enjoying myself a bit there. Anyway, I think Black should go G5. Generally speaking, then he can always dream of getting a knight on F4. It could be that if he goes G5, Keith might actually might want to go F4 to stop that happening. But of course, he has to be careful about moves like that when Black has a rook on the board. So,
I'd certainly say the rating 1693 is not accurate.
No.
He's way better than that.
Yeah. Oh, we will talk more about this young man, I think. G5.
He's gone G5. He's played your move, Jonathan.
Some would say this is not such a good sign, but let's not listen to those people.
Yeah, he's 2300-ish on lead chess, says Checkmate a lot.
Okay, so Keith's threatening rook b3, not rook a6 here, just to shout out.
Yeah, rook b3, which can't be recaptured because the bishop's pinned. Oh
dear.
No.
Keith will not miss this. Oh dear.
He's done it. Unlucky Stenvad. I think that might be it.
Yeah, this is it. Oh wait, he's still impressive nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
well, we shall hear more of this young man, very, very obviously.
Yes. All right.
Playing on as well, in true Gawain Jones style.
Well, you have to keep playing, but
every time I see someone play on a queen or rook down, I'd like to think in true Gawain Jones style.
Keith's not going to get anything wrong here. Yeah. Okay. So well played, Keith. Unlucky Stenvad. And Keith said, Keith's sporting as ever. Hard luck, very unclear.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we want to see?
So did we give Thomas Villiers a chance to redeem himself or not in the end?
We will. I want to just check Jumish because we haven't yet at all, and then we'll check in again on Tom Villiers.
Okay.
This is like an exciting opening with the black pawns coming forward. Duff Bailey is pushing the queenside pawns forward fast, and white will in turn push the kingside pawns. Okay.
Well, black is not intending immediately to castle, we should say. I guess he's going to go b3.
Yeah.
Or a3. Or a3. A3 has a certain point to it because a3 undermines, undermines the right pawn chain at the root, as it were. A3 is probably more thematic, isn't it, actually?
Yeah. What's black going to do with the king, though?
Yeah, I think he's deciding to work out that one a bit later.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to summon up the spirit of Korchnoi and put it on d7 at some point or something.
Okay, d7 for the king.
So I never played the French, and I can't remember you playing the French, Natasha. But French players do funny things.
A phase where I played the French, and I did quite like it.
Okay.
But if this kind of position, I'd definitely prefer for white than black.
Yeah. So I would imagine if he's channeling the Korchnoi spirit, he'll soon be Well, I was going to say he'd want to go knight b6 and king d7. Well, he has to do it quickly before white sacrifices something big on e6 and other places. Knight b6 or knight f8. I suppose knight f8 is more of a French player's move, isn't it?
Yeah, defending and then get the
Well, there may be knight b6 if he wants to go knight a4 and keep attacking that pawn chain. Knight b6 may not be so silly.
Yeah.
I never saw you play the French, Natasha. I remember you had a very long Alekhine's obsession.
I played the French. It was before even that. So I used to, when I first started, I was e5, just like everyone starts with e5. Then I moved. Then I did experiment a little bit with the French, and then the Sicilian. I played Sicilian Najdorf and all these sharp stuff for a bit. And then I realized I didn't know the theory well enough. and then I switched to the Alekines because all my friends were playing that.
Really?
I stuck with that for a long time. Yeah, Graham Burgess had written a book on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have gone to Cambridge by then. And
yeah, and they were all playing it. We were all like in the county matches, and the whole lot of us were playing the same opening. And it worked well before computers as well. We used to know it pretty well, and then we'd get good positions.
What happened to Graham Burgess? Does he still play or write? Or
he's a writer still, a publisher, and he does still play. He's living in America.
Okay. Anyway, assessing this position, I guess it's turned out okay for Black, hasn't it?
Actually, Black's while we've been chatting, Black has successfully managed to castle just normally. There's no like bishop h7 tricks or anything, is there?
No, I mean knight e5 is possible soon. Could he have played it last move even?
Oh, he's done bishop h7.
Ooh.
Despite the fact it's not on. I was looking at it too, I have to say, Jimwish.
Well, I don't see the win here. So what's the, or even the draw? What's the big idea after this?
Guitarman says Graham is still writing or editing about 20 books a year, so he's still.
Oh, okay, no particular change then.
See, the thing about Graham's books were they were like his books in the old days. They were just completely jam-packed with theory. It was like really dense lines of chess, which I couldn't do these days. But I used to just just try and memorize the whole lot of it and.
No, he was variation heavy before that became fashionable, before computers, which was something.
Yeah, he was like the pre-runner to computer. Now that reminds me, Jonathan, do you remember you and I played in this junior event in the 80s? It must have been
Bath, 1987. We
both were representing England. There was this match. You can't imagine it today, but there was this match, England juniors against computers, and so we had this team of juniors. And we had to play against. Can you remember the names of any of the computers?
High-tech computers. Okay, so Jack Rudd was on board 6 both days.
Yes,
young Jack
Rudd playing
was
instantly.
literally 6 or 7.
You're absolutely right. Jack was playing.
And he was playing instantly, which may or may not surprise you. And Simon Payne, who stopped playing chess, did play those 2 days.
Julie Harwell was playing.
Julie Harwell and yourself, and and naturally whoever else I've forgotten. Yeah, but I wonder was one of the Akehursts playing, perhaps, or have I?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I might have imagined that.
It was quite a close match, wasn't it?
We got hammered the first day, then we almost clawed it all back the following day. And I think actually it was Jack losing both games on board 6, which cost us the match, because I think otherwise it might have been level, with virtually everyone losing the first day and everyone but Jack winning the second day.
Just shows how strong the English juniors used to be, because I can't imagine today a team of English juniors winning a round against a team of the top computers.
I mean, the first day we just all lost, but we all blundered in good positions. We weren't really outplayed by the computer. I think I just stopped taking mine seriously, actually, and obviously when I blundered, when he blundered a piece, all of a sudden it's all over and you can't do anything anymore. But we all did that, unfortunately. That was the trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think now you mentioned it was that Bath. I started my career as a commentator, which was then interrupted for 34 years until today.
Oh, so were you commentating on that match?
No, I was commentating on the zonal tournaments taking place.
Of course you were. Yes, of course. Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, do you remember that Chandler, Spielman and Mestel were all in Bath playing the zonal event, with the top 2 going to the interzonal?
Oh, fantastic. And you were the commentator? And
they didn't have a commentator. They had a demo board and no commentator. And so I, the shy and retiring person I've always been, thought that something had to be done about this travesty and that the good folk of Bath are being shortchanged. And so I commented a little bit on a magnetic demo board.
Oh, fantastic.
And I said, such a shame that video footage of this event is lost.
Oh, Yeah. And who won the tournament in the end?
Spielman on 9 out of 10.
Wow.
And Glenn Fleer was second. So they both qualified for the interzonal. Spielman then went on, I think, to the Subotica interzonal and qualified to be a candidate. And as our viewers will know, he went on to beat Nigel Short in the quarterfinals.
And then
do you remember playing at Lloyd's Bank, Natasha, 1988?
Yeah.
Do you remember we were watching the moves of Short Spielman being relayed from wherever it was in London to wherever we were playing in London?
Kind of.
Well, I remember game 4 of Short Spielman. It was played somewhere else in London, but someone was feeding the moves through to Stuart Rubin, or because somehow they were appearing somewhere in the hotel where we were playing, Lloyd's Bank, 1988. And this was the game where Short was already a game down, but he was white against Spielman's perk, and he played a prepared line. Spielman played something a bit odd, but he sacked a piece for vague compensation, nothing too conclusive, but he could play it a bit. But Short had to win, which made it much harder. And he ended up getting mated on move 40. It was a big event.
Wow.
Because nobody really believed Spielman would win that match. But he won it convincingly.
Believed it.
Won it convincingly.
Yeah. Ooh. Now.
Right, anyway, going back to the chessboard, I'm sure both players have played extremely well.
White's now generating an attack, actually. So Black has been having it his own way on the queen side. But it now looks like White's coming through on the king side.
Here's a funny variation I like. What about rook a8, queen f7, king h8, rook h5, knight f7, queen f8?
Yeah.
Let's go through that slowly.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. So we're going
rook a8.
Rook a8 defending this knight.
Yeah.
Queen f7 check. Yeah. King here. Rook here check. Yeah. Knight interposes. And then we sacrifice our queen. Check. We could. This is forced. Take.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Oh,
he's done it. Nice, Jumush.
Yeah, we woke up in time there. The commentating team woke up with our nearing positional sense.
But hang on. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't want to put the queen in the way, so that doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
So rook h5 basically wins here.
Oh.
Done it.
We've got it.
Okay, knight h7.
If we could bottle it, we've got it.
And now, it's asking if I'm still here, but I've been talking queen sacrifice. Of course I am. I could have guessed those moves in advance, but I didn't quite.
Yes,
all right, we've got 10 minutes left of this arena. Well, 11 minutes. Let's see how the leaderboard is looking. So Keith is in the lead with 7 out of 7. So he's been having a fantastic tournament.
He's winning all his games.
6 out of 7. Ross Rattray and Jumush, we've just seen the game of ferrarifan, Rock, Manchester City, Amir Abbas. We've seen all of these people playing.
Let me have a look at this brilliant young man again.
You want to see You want to see more Stanbad? All right.
I bet people want to see more Stanbad. I mean,
Yeah.
He's probably come the closest to giving. I'm sure I expect, without having seen all of Keith's games, I expect he's given Keith the best game tonight.
Okay. All right, so we're going to see Stanbad against Jumush. We've just seen Jumush do a beautiful queen sacrifice to deliver checkmate. Stanbad is playing a Mark Hebden type opening. D4, knight f6, and knight c3. What do you call that one?
I thought it was the Verasov. I'm surprised they're calling it the Chiglin variation on this.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Verasov if white had gone bishop g5. Now it's whatever this opening is called. This is now fashionable 3 bishop f4. I just don't know whether it's got an agreed name.
Pawn opening Shigerin, chess.com is calling it.
Maybe, but it said that before white had gone bishop f4, I think. So that's why I'm a bit confused. Anyway,
Stanbad is getting his pawns right in there. Going Jabava London, says blue grey haze. It's the Jabava London system. It has transferred into London system, hasn't it? Hi, blue grey haze.
Okay.
And so, how is Stanbad going to do this? Would you?
So Stanbad is white or black?
Stanbad's white. Jumush is black.
Okay, well...
Do you do things like bishop d3 now? The pawn's on h5. He has.
He might do, yeah.
He's done it. Oh,
okay, Black's gonna have to stop. Black's gonna have to stop G6 next move. Okay, he's done that.
Yeah.
Well, this is quite nice for white, but it's really a game. Well, I guess he's going to castle queens and go e4, and it sort of looks like a good version of the fantasy Caricon for white, I suppose.
Checkmate Lot says Stan plays this nearly every game.
Oh, you mean his opponents play something like the Caricon, or he can go d4 and more or less force it, I suppose, to d4.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
Unless he plays someone who plays a perk or something.
Oh, Guitarman saying some of this Simon William nonsense, but he says that's not the official name.
There isn't actually an opening called Simon William nonsense. Okay.
Right. So Stanbad's lining up on the e-file now. I'm going to remind everybody.
I mean, it's probably simply nice for white, isn't it? He's got a bit more space. That's really all there is.
Yeah, it does look nice. I'm going to remind everyone about the charity event, the ECF, the Checkmate COVID event, which is the 24-hour chess marathon. I assume you'll be up for that, Jonathan, on the 5th and 6th of June. You can play from 5 p.m. on Saturday all the way through to 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm a family man. I mean, you're lucky. You're lucky that I think you're lucky that I'm even commentating tonight.
I'm feeling very lucky that you're commentating.
Friday night.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I thought
24 hours, but it should be a very nice event. Lots of commentaries going on that day as well. Hi, Stanbad. We've just been admiring some of your games.
Are we allowed to talk to him while he's playing?
Yeah, he said hello. We can say hello.
Okay.
Say hello back.
Well, tell him that I was hoping that he'd have gone knight e6 and sacked a piece instead of queen b5. That won't help him.
He's probably heard that. You heard that, didn't you, Stanbad?
Why didn't he go knight e6 when he could have done?
Knight e6, we're going to say.
Instead of queen b5. Would have been fun.
Okay. There we go. Why not knight e6? Oh, not 9. He's 11. Sorry, Stanbad. I took 2 years off him. He's 11 years old. And
yeah, he's still very good. That hasn't really changed my opinion of how well he's done.
Sorry?
That doesn't change my opinion of how well he's done.
No, he's done very well. So he's the under-12 British Blitz champion, so fantastic.
Oh, I want him to go 96.
That's good advice from a wise, older, wiser player. Focus on your game. Don't get distracted. We're only here to distract you.
Yeah, we are literally trying to distract you. Oh, I didn't mean 96.
Distract everyone. Yeah, I don't know whether we've jinxed you yet. You see, what we often do on some of the League chess arenas is go in and visit your game. You can see we're following, and then people just blunder the moment we go and visit. That's quite funny.
This is playable too, incidentally.
Can't you take on G6? Oh, hang on.
Yeah,
why are you chatting to us while you're actually during a game?
This is playable, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the d5 pawn can easily fall as well.
Okay.
So I guess he's going to go rook e1 now. The other rook.
I mean, the computer's slightly liking this for black now, I'd have to say.
Yeah. Well, to be clear, my knight e6 advice was at a moment earlier when the queens were on the board, but
okay.
But you know, I still like the style. I mean, the black has still got some problems to solve here. There is a weak d5 pawn, and his pieces are uncoordinated. So in Blitz, this is
you have to assume that Stanbad is going to like end games, because that's the way, isn't it, to become really strong, is to kind of.
Oh, we can go knight a7 in this position. I've got all black's pawns.
That is true. Now that is true, and then threatening that knight on b6.
Yeah. Yeah, black's position is loose, so you know.
Yes,
a computer doesn't think of it as being loose because it sees all the tactics 20 moves long. But for us, it's loose.
No, you know, Percy's just reminded us that we've got to, like, what Matthew always does is go, "Oh no!" whenever anyone blunders, and we do this really loud.
Oh, no, we haven't done that. So we should have done that when that guy lost his queen on d2 earlier.
Yeah.
We should have gone, ah! Thank you.
That's exactly right. Right. So now white has several pass pawns, and black has a passed h pawn.
He has a passed h pawn.
Okay. So black has the extra knight as well. What do you think of this?
Well, I'm worried about that passed h pawn running through. To be honest with you.
I suppose white should try and run the a pawn at some point as soon as he can.
No, this has gone wrong.
Gone wrong because you can't go. What you can't do is King D3.
Very true. Which I was thinking.
If White goes King D3, I'm going to do a huge no.
Then
no. Oh, hang on. No. Black missed Rook D2 mate there, by the way, I have to say. That was my no was because Black did have a mate in 1. I'm right, aren't I, Jonathan? I'm not making this up.
Yeah, you're right.
There was a mate
in 1. Appreciate our angst.
So we'll just, I think we just deserve a big no. No.
Well, generally speaking, Black seems to have given up on just promoting his H-pawn, which
yeah. White must be happy about that.
He's taken his eye off the ball a bit. They're still winning, I dare say.
Well, we've probably been distracting him.
We've been distracting him. You mean you think Black might be listening to our inane commentary as well as?
Oh no, Stambad said oops. I'm sure you're not actually meant to be listening to the commentary during the game. Anyway, you got away with it, Stambad. Oh, excuse me.
Well,
right, H1 is now going.
This is but
it's hard to stop.
Possibly, but I'm feeling
coming around. Oh,
I'm still feeling you shouldn't lose. No, knight d6. Oh dear, rook c8 was not a good move.
So,
I suppose after knight d6 he'd have gone king d3, and it wouldn't have been totally obvious, actually.
Yeah.
Good.
There's just 2 minutes left of the arena. Who knows if this game will even reach a conclusion?
Knight e4, something to stop knight g3 anyway. Well, this is a balanced position, actually. I think. I don't see Black having an immediate rate of force through the pawn.
Yeah.
He'll have lots of tricks, certainly. But unless it's push your own pawn, unless you can see a trick for the opponent. Must be.
Yeah, you might as well put some pressure
on.
Don't
go king e2 here. Don't go king e2.
What happens with king e2? Oh, just the fork on e3.
Yeah, it's king d2 then.
If you go king e2, we'll do it. No!
But it may not be lost because h2 may drop, and it's technically drawn still. But maybe Black will put him to the test for drawing it.
Oh, we could get
Judy Paul got lost one of these to customer.
Stambad's offered a draw, although not too surprisingly Black saying no. I mean, although it might be sensible to set to draw when the arena gets down to, we've got 1 minute left. So Black's going to try for checkmate. Black obviously can't really take the pawn because that really will be a draw. Oh, the games get cut off and they don't get played to the finish, says Wilsonia.
Oh, no. Oh, do they want to play another game, perhaps? Is that it? Okay.
They've agreed the draw. So very sensibly, actually, they've agreed the draw just 15 seconds before the arena ends. Okay.
Oh, this is
there's 10 seconds left. Okay. Sorry?
Well, does that give them an extra point they wouldn't otherwise have if the game had been unfinished?
Sorry, Blue Grain Haze. It's Jonathan Rogers. I'll write his name in the chat. Who is a FIDE master and also the long-time captain of the Barbican 4 NCL chess team. Well done, Stambad.
Yep.
How's it gone? So the winner is Grandmaster Keith Arkell on an amazing 8 out of 8, just perfect play. Johan has done very well with 6 out of 9 to get silver, and Ross Rattray the bronze.
On 6 out of 7.
He's got 6 out of 7. Oh, okay. So he only managed 7 games. So he's got a very good score, 6 out of 7 to get the bronze. We've got ferrarifan, Jumush, Manchester. We've seen all these play tonight. Amir, Abbas, Eel Rock, E4.
Thomas Villiers will be disappointed with that result.
We didn't see F4 on O'More, F4 no more, which is probably very wise. F4 no more, giving up the bird.
Yes.
Melvin 960 we didn't, but we'll try and catch them if we.
I think the scoring's a bit unfair, isn't it, on the chap who came third?
They do it on score, not percentage. You've got to be in it to win it, you know, Jonathan.
Oh no, but supposing that when you finished your game, no one else is available to play you, and you just play 7 games for that.
Yeah. It's one of those things. So you have to play quick or play the whole time. Stambad got 3.5 out of 7, and Nigel ST was also 3.5 out of 7. Okay, so well done, everybody. Thanks all for playing. I think there were 26 players in the end, so a very well attended. Thanks everybody for watching. That's my coach. This is Jonathan Rogers. Yeah, thanks, Bud. Thanks for joining in the chat, and it was great fun watching your games. Thanks everybody also for joining in the chat, and thanks all for watching. A big thank you to Jonathan Rogers for stepping in at the very last minute to commentate. Get well soon to Matthew Sadler. And hopefully we'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks all.
Bye-bye.